Hi, I'm Erin from Royal Blue, and today we are going to continue with our Dragon's Top Pack. So today I'd like to focus on the Which is Different page. This is a more complicated page because you actually have to adjust the images somehow, and it very often involves image editing. Like on these whistles below, I actually went into GIMP and edited out the star, which turned out to be a little complicated because this gray back here is a gradient, so I had to match the colors, just little things. So that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to go down here in our Dragon's Top Pack. We're going to go to New Page. And first I want to get the background all set. We're going to use shapes to do that. So down here you see a rectangle. And we're going to click on the rectangle. And then we're going to make rectangle shapes. We're just going to guess right now, oops, because it's too hard to make this scientific and figure out exactly the size it needs to be. I've tried. So we're going to go to color none, so there's no background. We're going to make it black. And we're going to put it 0.2. And then we're going to copy and paste this. Copy and paste. And then we're going to move the second one up and try and align the bottom and the top so that it looks like one piece. And then we're going to do it a third time. Now I want these to be a little bit bigger. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of them by just holding down our cursor over them and right clicking and clicking group. Then we can adjust all of them at the same time. So I'm going to make it almost all the way to the top. I'd like to have enough space that I can make the top rectangle a little bit bigger. So after that we're going to ungroup them. So we're going to select all again and then hit ungroup. And now I'm just going to select this top one and make it bigger. And that's what I'd like it to look like. So I'm going to steal the title from the last page and put the new title here. Maybe. Copy, paste. There we go. And I'm going to write which is different. Okay. Uh-oh. I think I got another one put in there by accident. There we go. And okay, so we have our background done. Now we're going to go get our images from GIMP. So first I'm going to get Fred because, you know, I love Fred. So we are going to Control A for select all and Control C to copy. And then bring Fred over here. We're going to size him so that he fits in the right aisle or right row. There we go. And then I always start by just making him go all the way across. I don't worry about the different one. I just make one row of each item. So next, all right, now we've got all of our guys in our file and separated on each row. One easy way to switch things, which we're not actually going to keep, but just to show you, is to flip them horizontally. So you just right click on any of your images and go down to flip and then horizontal. And you just flip it. That's something that makes a difference. Real easy to do. We're not going to do that today. We are going to go into GIMP and make differences ourselves. So we've got Fred here, and I'd like to give him some fire. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to bring it over to Fred. We're going to give him a new layer for the fire. It's a transparent layer. Paste the fire in. And then up here where it says floating selection, whatever that says, we're going to hit the new layer button again. That way the whole thing stays. So now I want to start moving this into position. I want to try and get it right into his mouth. And I'm going to scale it down to size. I would like to make it so that I don't have to change the image size of Fred. It just makes it simpler when putting it back into the file. All right, so we're going to move this flame. I might make it just a little bit smaller. Oops. All right, and there's Fred, and I'm going to save him as a PNG to maintain the transparencies. JPEG does not keep the transparencies, so you really need to use PNG anytime you're using an image that's transparent. We'll call this Fred Fire. Or just that. I guess my keyboard's not that sensitive. .png. P, there, jeez. Oh, I forgot, you have to export files from GIMP. I use a different version normally. Export as, now I can do it. Fred Fire. It already has the PNG, that works. And then we export it. And then I'm going to cheat a little bit and hope it works out. We're going to go back to the file. I'm going to put the fire one right here. Since it's the same size, we could just click on this image and go to Insert Image. We can find it. He's under my dragons file. And here's Fred Fire. And he just comes out and he's the right size and the right place and everything. Next, we're going to change. Okay, so next we're going to do the den, the dragon den. What I'm going to do is add Fred into it. So first we're going to go to Fred and we're going to copy him. And then take him over to the den. We're going to add a layer. Paste him in. Add a layer again, so that way Fred stays with us. All right, I need it a little bit smaller. And I really just want his head poking out, so I'm going to turn him so it's just his head sticking out. All right, now obviously we don't want his body looking like that because it doesn't look like his head's pointing out of the cave. It's just situated in front of it. So what I'm going to do is select this dark part in the cave with this wand tool. It basically selects everything that's the same color. And then I'm going to do the opposite. It's going to select the invert of it, which is everything else. And I'm going to delete the part of Fred that is everything else. So now it looks just like we've got little Fred sticking his head out of the cave. And we're going to save, or we're going to export this. And we just got to name it something different. Cave with Fred. Export, export. All right, and now we can go back. And I think I'll put him in the first one. We're going to select that, go to Insert, Image, and we need Cave with Fred. And there's the cave with Fred. Now the last we're going to do is going to be the trickiest one. We are going to remove one of the heads from these dragons. That's only tricky because we're going to have to make it look a little bit natural. So what I'm going to do is just do a big erase of the top of his head. I think we're going to erase the left head. That seems a little bit easier to me. So the eraser button is over here. And I want the size to be larger because we're erasing a large area. Quite a bit larger. That should work. And I'm just going to erase what I can. All right, now where it's tricky is right down here. So you don't want to get the other side. But you gotta get close enough. All right, so now we zoom in because you gotta get real close to get these fine little details. When I'm doing which is different things, I don't get quite as detailed as if it was something I was going to be using over and over. We're going to use this image once. Ooh, left a lot of black out here. Yeah, so it's just not as important to get it perfect, in my opinion. I can't see under this. Hard edge. I need a hard edge right now. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the paintbrush, and we need it to be black and not nearly that big. And I'm going to freehand it because this is a Melonhead's image and she doesn't really have a lot of straight lines. It'd be hard to mimic her with straight lines. Alright, so we are just going to take this. It's going to need to be bigger than that, isn't it? Just realize I moved myself off screen. There I am. I think I made it too big. I am not getting this. Let's try 14. Doesn't seem to be right. That's weird. Okay, so I'm going to try and just blend this in as naturally as possible. Seems like 2 rows is going to be necessary. It wasn't quite sharp enough. And we got some blue to fill in there, it looks like. So I'm going to give another layer underneath so that I don't mess up the black. Now we're going to steal this blue color just like we did the green in the avatar video. We're just going to take this little eyedropper tool and click on the blue as close to where we need to be as possible. Because the colors do vary, although slightly. And then we're just going to color in right here. Yeah, I messed up a little. And there we go. We have a dragon with one head, one neck and head. Very small. Alright, so we're going to save him. Sorry, we're going to export him. I have to get used to that. Export him 2 heads. We're just going to call him 1 head. .png. And we export that. There we go. And we're going to go back to our file, our other file. And let's see, we got one here, one here. I'm going to put him in the second place. Go insert image. Got to find 1 head. And there we go. And that's how you make a Which Is Different page using GIMP.